There's very few places in the world where you get to be 22, 23 years old, leading a group through team formation, building, and ultimately a deployment in support of our nation. In my case, in support of the campaign against ISIS.
We were fully deployed in the Persian Gulf. I had 30 seconds to decide whether or not to shut down the reactor. By shutting it down, I might jeopardize the lives of the pilots that were launching and landing on the ship. Or by keeping it operational, of course, I risk everybody.
It was a last-second deployment for Hurricane Irma back in September 2017. It's 420 miles wide, 185-mile-an-hour winds, barreling down on the state of Florida. And all of a sudden, I have to fly a helicopter onto the back of a Coast Guard cutter.
Really understanding people's fears or concerns or the unknown, bridging that human gap. Throughout my time in the military, I learned a lot about humans and how we process change. So I wanted to be on the ground. I was part of the first group of women to be with these all-male combat units, and they had never worked with women before.
We'd attached to a battalion of commandos. We were training, advising, and then we would take them out conducting combat operations against the Taliban. I had to find a way to manage 13 civilian interpreters who were local Afghans. The complexity here was that they were mission critical. We could not do our job if they didn't show up.
In any role that you're in the military, you're leading people, you're leading projects, you're leading a lot of different stakeholders. When I joined the military, everyone was like, why? It's not a 9-to-5 job. You don't hang up the uniform and go home at night. It becomes who you are, and you give so much of yourself for the mission that our country and democracy is built upon.
When you're facing uncertainty, that is what training and preparation is for. That is why military teams spend years training to execute something that will take moments. You operate at your highest version of yourself when you kind of invest in the development and growth of others.
So we have a saying in the military. It goes, mission first, people always. From my experience, it's people first, mission always. Because sometimes where we can make the biggest impact is taking care of the people so that they have what they need to accomplish the mission.
How do you process through challenging, complex problems with multiple stakeholders in a chaotic and uncertain environment?
I saw business school as an opportunity to make the biggest impact.
Managing a team in government, managing a team in the military, managing a team in the private sector, everyone has needs.
The business education has given me a strategic outlook and perspective on how to design where we need to be going.
Something to keep in mind is that less than 10% of the adult U.S. population is a veteran.
Being an immigrant, it was important for me to give back to a country that has given my family opportunities that we wouldn't have had.
My parents immigrated from India and emphasized the importance of giving back to this nation.
And I am extremely grateful for all of those that are continuing to serve.
What if we didn't have servicemen and women putting in everything they could during World War II? What would that look like? What would it look like if we didn't have a all-volunteer force and we would be drafting people for the global war on terrorism? What would that look like?
So I would just ask for everyone to take a moment to reflect, because there are people fighting for all of the freedoms that you get to take advantage of.